Hey, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time, welcome. My name is Majors. And nothing too tough this morning, just out getting a little Sunday morning stroll, getting the body moving, getting nice and active. I wanted to talk to you guys about recovering from injuries, because as we all know, everything doesn't go according to plan. It seems like at the worst possible time, when you're in your groove, you get going, you're hitting PRs, something will come up and happen and just grab you right at the ankle, pull you back. And that's just life. So when things don't go according to plan, it's really just a test of your character. And that's what I actually had to learn over and over again. But specifically back in May of 2014, I had my worst injury. Back then I was playing a lot of basketball. I was using hoops as a way to get my cardio in, and I ruptured my Achilles. Devastating injury. I was out, I was hooping, and the crazy thing about it is nobody was around me. It was a non-contact injury. I just went up for a rebound, came down, and it felt like somebody just, with all their weight, just landed right on the back of my heel. I wasn't able to put any weight, on that foot. And my friend B, I was just looking at him and I was like, somebody landed on the back of my foot. And then I just fell to the ground. They were just telling me nobody was around you. So then that's when I thought, oh man, don't tell me I just ruptured my Achilles. I got back up, I limped off the court. I couldn't put any weight on it at all. My friend actually had to drive my truck home for me. Shout out to Lil B. Then after that, I get home. I'm pretty much just in denial at this point. I was just thinking to myself that, maybe I didn't rupture it. Maybe it was just a bruise or a strain or a pull. So I gave it some time. I iced it. A couple days went by, a few weeks went by, and I was still, like I said, I was in denial. I was still going to the grocery store, out running errands, and I was just waiting to see if it would get better, but it wouldn't. So then finally I had my wife do this at home kind of test to see if it was ruptured, and she did that test and my foot didn't respond. And it was all bad. So I ruptured it in May of 2014. I went ahead and wanted to get the surgery because you can let it heal naturally or you can get the surgery. I chose the surgery, which I'm glad that I did because it's just worked out phenomenally. I got the surgery in June of 2014. So I was walking around with the ruptured Achilles for about a month. And don't let pride get in the way, y'all. I was prideful, I was in denial. I should have went right away to get it checked out, but I didn't. And it just delayed my healing process, basically. So I get to the doctor and he confirms that it is an Achilles rupture. Man, it took all the strength in me to stop myself from crying right in front of that doctor in his office, man. My water in my eyes started welling up. That's when I knew it was going to be a long road ahead. And, my doctor was saying that, the Achilles rupture, that's the worst, one of the worst injuries that an athlete can suffer. It's the biggest tendon. It's the longest tendon in your body. It's worse than an ACL or an MCL. And it takes the longest to recover. So he told me that, my recovery time would most likely be anywhere between 6 to 12 months, but I wouldn't really be active again, probably 8 months, to where I'm able to cut, I'm able to, do the things that I was doing before the injury. I've been active my whole life, and when you have something like that happens, it's pretty grounding for sure. You just don't realize the things that you just take for granted till they're gone. He did assure me that it would be stronger, when it does heal, it's actually going to be stronger than my other Achilles, my non-injured Achilles, just because of all the bruising and the scarring and stuff like that. But he said I have to be patient, can't rush anything. I have to really be strict and listen to his direction and his guidance, because if I rushed it, then, I can rupture it all over again. So I finally get scheduled for my surgery date, and the day of, now I've never had surgery before. I've never went under or anything of that nature. So I was a little nervous and a little anxious heading up to the surgery. So I'm prepping, getting ready. And then the surgery is only about maybe an hour and a half or something like that. But I remember being nervous because, you know, it was my first time. And there's always just that little uncertainty. My wife was just telling me that, you know, not to worry, that it's gonna be basically the best sleep I'm ever gonna get in my life, you know, and before you know it, I'll be waking back up. And that's what happened, you know. So they gave me the medicine and they told me to count to 10. And by the time I got to 3, I was gone. Next thing you know, I'm waking up like nothing ever happened. Before the surgery, I asked my doctor to, you know, to use my phone to take a pic of the surgery just so I could always have. My doctor was cool as hell, one of the nicest people, and I was just real fortunate, blessed to have, you know, found him. Really great dude, and we were just able to hit it off because basically he ruptured his Achilles as well. So he was telling me about, you know, his journey and his hurdles, and he was an active guy. So I was able to really relate to him, and it made me feel at peace. He just had all my trust, just for the simple fact that, you know, it wasn't that he was just a doctor, but he was active. He was like a weekend warrior, jogging on the weekends, cycling on the weekends. Having those commonalities just put me even more at peace, because he understands the struggle of having to go through that himself and not being able to be active and do the things that you're accustomed to doing. So I had the surgery, you know, everything went well, but it was the recovery process was the most painful experience I've ever gone through. The pain pills is not enough. You know, you just want to take the whole bottle, which is pretty scary, because I was able to understand how people get addicted to those medications. It's very easy to do, and that's something that I wanted to really try to avoid. The crazy part is not just the physical aspect of recovering, but nobody really warns you about the mental aspect. I went through a little depression at a certain point, because you're just not able to do anything on your own. Not only are you not able to be active, but you know, you can't use the restroom on your own, you can't shower, you can't take care of yourself basically, and then you don't want to be a bother on others as well. It's a lot that piles up, and I admit I threw my own little pity party for a while. I went through a little depression, but you know, I wouldn't allow myself to stay in that state, because it's poisonous and it's real dangerous. So I was looking for something to mentally, you know, get me out of that dark place. And at the time, I wasn't really the biggest fan of Kobe Bryant, you know, RIP Kobe. But after my Achilles rupture is when I really did start to look at him entirely different, and I became a big fan of Kobe, because he had also ruptured his Achilles. So what I started doing was, on YouTube, I would start looking up videos of how he recovered. Whether you like him or not, Kobe, he just has that crazy killer mentality, relentless, never stops. And I appreciate that about Kobe. So I wanted to see somebody with that mental aspect, how they recovered through something like this. I started watching the videos, and that's what I actually used to get out of the darkness and to get back into light, to get motivated again, to be driven again. If he was able to do it, then I could do the same thing as well. And after that, my respect for Kobe just went at an all-time high. I was really able to use his recovery process for my fuel, regarding my recovery process. I was going to the doctor visits. I remember one time, the pain was so bad just for me to just put my foot down. I didn't even think I was gonna even be able to make it during the drive to the doctor visit. I remember my wife was driving me, and I was in so much pain that I had to actually roll the window down and elevate my foot out the window. Almost passed out from the pain going into the doctor's office. It was crazy. But I started eventually getting better. I was recovering at a good pace. Before you know it, I would say maybe 4 months after the surgery, I was already back playing basketball. So I was like 2 months ahead of schedule, and I was out hooping, you know. And as soon as my doctor gave me the clearance that I couldn't hurt myself or re-injure or rupture my Achilles, I was back out hooping. I was only about maybe 50% strength in my calf, but the guys I was playing with, they weren't able to tell. When they finally found out, you know, they were shocked that I just had surgery just a few months ago. I just refused to take it laying down. You know, what a lot of guys, what happens is after you go through that type of injury, they're not active the same way anymore, because that fear and your mental, you know, kind of stops you from doing the things that you used to do, because you're scared that you're going to do it all over again. But I didn't want to be like that. I was like, I'm going to go back to how I was, or I'm just going to re-rupture it, which my doctor said wouldn't happen. And I trusted him, because I waited the duration of time he wanted me to wait before I started being active again. When I first started playing, you know, I probably had about 50% strength in my calf. And even to this day, my calf area on my injured Achilles is smaller than my other calf. I probably only have about 85% strength in that calf compared to my left calf. But I haven't allowed that to stop me to do any of the things that I want to do or accomplish. It was really important for me to count my blessings and to understand that at least I'm able to walk. At least I'm able to do the things that I was able to do. You know, I'm not bedridden. I'm not in a wheelchair. There's a lot of people that are going through way worse than what I went through. And when I realize that and remember that, it always makes everything better. I never really discussed that before. Just show you some of my vulnerabilities, because we all have them and we all go through them at one point or the other. And nobody gets through this thing unscathed. But you just gotta flip it, add it to your arsenal, allow that to make you stronger and ultimately build character. And then you never know, the next person that you become friends with, or you might see somebody struggle through the same type of injury or a similar injury, and you can help them based off of your experience, based off of your testimony, to help them get up. Just like how Kobe was for me, you could be for somebody else. I just wanted to tell you guys about that. I'll show you my photo that my doctor took during the surgery, which is real crazy. But everything's all good now. We all fall down, and you just gotta get back up. And feeling sorry for yourself, that's gonna only delay the process. And just remember, there's always somebody out there that's going through worse than what you're going through. So at the end of the day, we're all human, and we all handle things differently. And there's nothing wrong with, you know, feeling defeated from time to time, getting depressed, getting down, whatever the emotion is. Just don't wallow in it. Just don't meditate in it. Just don't stay and sit in it. You know, get up, be strong, keep going, keep grinding, keep pressing, turn that weakness into a strength. At the end of the day, you'll be better for it, stronger for it. You'll be able to pick somebody up and help encourage the next man. And that's what it's really all about. Make it part of your testimony. Never give up. Keep pressing. Allow for it to make you stronger. Hey, so I appreciate y'all for spending a little bit of time with me today. I'm still new to this whole YouTube thing. And man, when you're holding the camera yourself, that first person camera ain't no joke. Arm starts to get a little heavy, shoulder starts burning a little bit. But yeah, y'all, man, I appreciate your time. You know, I'm brand new. If you like what you see, if you like the content, please like and subscribe. You know, I'm still trying to get to 100 subscribers. But I thank y'all, man. This is fun. If I'm able to just help just one person, just encourage one person, man, it's all worth it. If you have a question, let me know. I'll answer it. If you leave a comment, you know, I'll read them. I'll get back to you. Until next time, y'all, stay strong, keep grinding. Come for kills. Let's get it.